in the wilds of Massachusetts.
Destiny has brought me here, and it's not done with me. You know, I have many things left to do in this lifetime.
An oasis of peace, an ode to life.
I am somebody who is being channeled. Something's been created here on a monumental level that has come through me.
The Three Sisters Sanctuary. Nestled in a valley lies the picturesque village of Goshen, with 1,000 residents and a jewel of a garden, the Three Sisters Sanctuary, a place to relax, to unwind, or to escape.
Richard M. Richardson, environmental artist from the land of Goshen, creator and caretaker of the Three Sisters Sanctuary. I am an environmental artist who works in the media that incorporates nature, stone, and plants to create the art that I'm most comfortable with.
This vast sanctuary made up of gardens and sculptures spans 1.5 hectares or 161,000 square feet. To get in, you have to make an appointment. The cost of entry, $10. On average, 100 people visit the Three Sisters Sanctuary each week. Today, Bob Labrie, president of the local historical society and a volunteer firefighter, plans to explore the sanctuary. It's the first time he's walked the sanctuary's paths.
When I first walked into this space, you could see the intricate details in what's been laid out here. There are details like little matchbox cars and little people. It's thought-provoking. But the other thing that it made me think of was I've been to Europe before. This looks more like a spiritual place. Something like you would see in the cemeteries in Europe that you don't typically see here in the United States, where families would come and adorn the gravestones of family members. And I look at this and it reminds me of that because there are a lot of trinkets here that could be things that come from the family's past, or things that reminded the artist of an event or something in his, sometime in his life.
The Goshen region is famous for its natural rocks, and nowhere are they more in the spotlight than here, where they're used not only in the construction of paths and patios, but in the framing of the very landscape. At the Three Sisters Sanctuary, simple stone is transformed into a work of art.
When you walk around, you see a lot of Goshen stone, which is something that you see in a lot of homes in this area, or a lot of places you can go to. You'll still see Goshen stone. But what I think Richard has done here is that he's taken it and turned it into a piece of art. As I walk into this space, I smile only because it's reminiscent of many homes in Goshen where you have a border of Goshen stone and a large white quartz stone in the middle. Much like our fire department, we have a wall of Goshen stone, and in the front of the station, we have a large white quartz rock with a plaque on it to commemorate the McRae station, the people who designed the fire station so many years ago. The dragon is awesome because once you look at it, you realize that it's a chimney. At first you don't see it, you see it as a piece of art. But then as you look and see the fireplace underneath it, you look up, you realize that it's a chimney. When I look at this, you realize the amount of hours that are involved in putting something like this together. And my sense is I have a better appreciation for the artist himself because of the intricate details that are in the dragon and just this whole structure.
What most surprises visitors is the sheer abundance of detail.
I knew that this was a big place, but the way it's set up, it's small in its arrangement. There are small little places that you can go to that gives you a sense that this is a much smaller place than it really is. Having been here, this is the kind of place that I want to come back for more. Just like Goshen, coming back to the same place, you're going to find different things each time you come that you missed the first time you were here. Like here, I see the bird inside the bird cage that I missed the first time around. There are so much details in the stonework and the artwork that I've seen here today that I would love to come back and spend more time just to look at each square inch of the place.
After the break, can work help you heal?
I could hear my brother saying to me, "This is my gift to you. If you tend these gardens, you will heal your soul."
Goshen is located in the Pioneer Valley, 185 kilometers or 115 miles from Boston. This typical New England village has kept true to its heritage. There is a general store, a municipal library, a city hall, and a fire station. Not far beyond it lies the Lower Highland Lake, a small body of water kept pristine by devoted locals.
Goshen is a town that's made up of just over 1,000 people. It used to have farmers here. There aren't too many farms around anymore. We often joke that the only thing that Goshen grows anymore are the stones that come out of the ground.
We're close to attractions like the Mount Sugarloaf, the Connecticut River Valley, the Shelburne Falls Bridge of Flowers is the only bridge of flowers in the world, and it's right down the road within 5 miles, and it's exquisite.
Near Goshen is the Daughters of the Revolution National Forest, a 7 square kilometer or 2.7 square mile park that attracts campers and outdoor enthusiasts alike. It is this unique setting that attracted Richard Richardson to the region some 40 years ago.
Destiny has been the most significant part of my world. I drove into this little town of Goshen in 1972, and I drove into a world of beautiful greenery and typical New England town, and I thought to myself, if I could live anywhere, this would be where I would choose. The only house I ever looked at buying is this house that the sanctuary is built on. When I purchased this home, I knew that this was not a starter home. It was not the beginning of the next step in my life, that I had arrived where I was meant to be. And the house was really no more than a wooden tent. It did not have a central heating system. It did not have a septic system. It had a structure with a couple windows in it and a wall. I took on the project of turning that into a home, which took me 20 years of my life. In those 20 years, I had 2 children born in the house. For me to have my children in this house was a true gift.
Upon arrival, Richard immediately saw the possibilities afforded to him by this immense land. The first step was starting a business. He opened a shop that sold and repaired antique stoves.
I built the stove company over there. In the first 10 years of living here, I had a gypsy carpenter build the building for me, and he got it completed, but we had no windows. We had no doors, and we had no floor. The house and the stove company took me 20 years of my life. What I didn't realize was in those 20 years, it had fulfilled another need for me, which is that I'm a very creative individual. There was something about me that I like to have the vision and then watch the vision turn into reality. I took a year off and I thought to myself, something would pop into mine. And instead, I was very, very bored.
But life stepped in to end his lack of inspiration. Richard's brother made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
My brother and I stood up on my deck and I was looking out on this barren piece of land. And my brother said to me, why don't you and I go out and we'll install some gardens? And my brother at that time was sick. We both knew that he didn't have a lot of time left in his world. He was terminally ill with cancer and the clock was ticking. So we came out and he worked with me during the summer and the fall and we installed 3 gardens. And that very winter in the month of December, December 10th, my brother passed away. I held his hand as he took his last breath and I said goodbye to somebody that was very, very important to me in life.
And how I loved you so. Oh, let's watch our rivers flow.
When spring came, those gardens came up. And when I saw those 3 gardens, I could hear my brother saying to me, brother, go out there and take care of those gardens. This is my gift to you. If you tend these gardens, you will heal your soul. You will heal your grief. You will be able to let me go little by little, and you'll find the light at the end of the tunnel.
The cultivating of his garden had a therapeutic effect on him, but once his wounds were healed, he was ready for a new challenge. Next, Richardson launched himself into landscaping.
I watched those gardens in 3 years start to grow and get larger, and I thought to myself, I don't know about this. So I made a conscious decision after 3 years to switch from gardening to what they call hardscape.
This involved more than just the installation of a patio. He literally created a unique environment where stones transformed nature into art.
And it was interesting to watch him sort of shift identities and mediums a little bit and learn how to move from vegetation and plants into rock, and how it necessitated all sorts of engineering challenges and ideas.
We would come out here with strings, spray paint, and try to envision how it would look, where things would go. And if it worked, and if it didn't, it didn't.
So I spent the first 10 years creating a number of outdoor rooms and garden follies, and finding myself rewarded almost every time I did a new section or a new part of it.
You know, it required exploring not only his creative mind, but his engineering mind that had previously maybe been underutilized or not fully grasped. It was great.
Very conventional people would find it odd, but if you're just a little bit unconventional, it's extraordinary.
Destiny has brought me here, and it's not done with me. It's not done. I'm not done. You know, I have many things left to do in this lifetime.
After the break, a simple garden becomes the work of a lifetime.
I came to grips with what my purpose in life was. My purpose in life was to build a Three Sisters sanctuary.
This beautiful sanctuary lost in the Massachusetts countryside is more than a tribute to the surrounding nature. It also tells the saga of a family, as the evolution of the space is intimately linked to Richardson's life.
I've named the Three Sisters Sanctuary after my 3 daughters. My middle daughter is Sarah Winona, and she had such great potential. And I asked her if she would come to work for me in her senior year.
My father came down to visit me at work one day, and he said, Sarah, my daughter, I love you. Won't you come consider working with me over at the Good Time Stove Company? I could really use some help in the office. And I said, no problem.
The stove company, I've always said I'm a lucky man. I have a wife, which is the Good Time Stove Company, that has been in my life 40 years as of this year. Sarah allowed me the freedom to find the time to build the Three Sisters Sanctuary. And my youngest daughter is Megan Elizabeth. Megan realized that she was an artist at the age of 17 when she did her first art project, and helped me find the artist in me. This piece here is a mosaic that has both of our names on it, Richardson Labonte, and it's the first mosaic that we did together. I love it. People say, I see where your daughter gets her creativity, and I say just the opposite. My daughter instilled in me the creativity that I didn't know was lying quietly waiting for me to embrace it.
In 2004, fate would strike once more.
My eldest daughter, Tina Marie, was the second evolution in the sanctuary. She passed away 10 years ago. When I lost my daughter, I came to grips with what my purpose in life was, to help relieve others the same grief that I was feeling at that moment in time.
Since my sister passed, that turned my eyes and my heart to how very painful that experience is, and how profoundly, not only moving, but how much it changes you and your family.
I realized at that point that the sanctuary was to continue. I realized at that point that it was to be deemed a healing sanctuary.
This became a place of healing. Tina Marie used to love to come here for our functions, and her spirit is always here. And this is to commemorate her life and my sister's as well.
I think that people do take seriously the theme of healing that Richard emphasizes. I mean, a number of people have used it in a similar way. Sarah was telling me about some people who created 3 new mannequins for the environment based on an accident in which one of their friends had died.
The heartbreaking loss of a loved one pushed Richardson even deeper into his art. And so began